Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Please confirm if you can hear me. We are getting started a little bit early today, guys. I accidentally scheduled for the incorrect time. I meant to schedule it for 7:30 Eastern time, and I've just now realized that I accidentally set it for the other time. So that is my bad. You should be able to see my screen now as well. We're just kind of getting everything set up, guys. I'm getting Damon and Orion in here, and then we're going to get off. We're going to get started here. So let me know in the chat, guys, where you guys are from. If you have any chart requests, we're going to be going over Forex, crypto. Forex, crypto, stocks. This is a stock I'm looking at right now that I actually was involved in. So this was a fun one. We will get started in just a few minutes, my friends. All right. Let's see what fit with silver while I'm waiting.
Hello, mate.
We got our boy Orion in the house. What's good, buddy?
I am doing good, my friend. How are you?
Pretty good. I'm on my other computer today. Can you confirm that my audio is coming through like relatively okay?
Yeah, you sound good.
Sounds okay. All right. I don't have my Yeti mic hooked up to this computer at the moment, and I just realized that as I after I already started the stream, so I don't want to end the stream to fix all that.
Yep, you are good. How did I Oh, okay, never mind. I'm being silly. I am good.
Cuckoo.
So, do I need to actually the YouTube comments pop up in here, right?
They should both pop up in the restream feed, so you should be able to see both of them. You can only comment back at people via the actual Facebook live stream, I guess.
Okay.
But on YouTube, you should be able to respond back. So you should be able to respond back via YouTube from the restream panel, basically. That's my understanding.
Let
me see. Trying to double check my facts on that real quick. Where am I at here? Okay. And I think Damon is gonna. Okay, cool. So you're on my live stream on Facebook. Looks like we're gonna set this up soon. I hope to blast out to you, yeah, on your profile and on Damon's, hopefully. But working with what we've got at the moment.
What's the plan for tonight?
I think let's just kind of do the same thing we did last week. Cover maybe 2 Forex, 2 stocks we want to look at, 2 crypto or something like that, and just we can take requests if we want.
I think the 2-2-2 works for this week since we started a little bit late. And then going forward, we can. I think maybe we should start with request, like going forward, like next week, see what the people want to see, and then we can kind of, based on what they request, do our charting and stuff like that, around that.
Yeah, I'm good with that. We can, this is kind of going to be an evolving
Yeah.
situation as we go, so we'll figure it out. But yeah, let's. I think the 222 for this week. Yeah, I just scheduled it wrong, guys. That's why we're starting early. I had it scheduled at 7:30 local time for me, but I didn't realize it was supposed to be 7:30 Eastern. Um, um, I don't know if Damon's gonna make it. I don't. You just saw his message, but he might be on mobile, and I don't think you can really like be a mod participant on mobile, which is fine. I mean, we can hold down the fort. This is kind of just you know, doing our thing. So
He's on Facebook.
okay, yeah. If he wants to just kind of sit in the comments on Facebook on the stream, we can he can help answer questions and mod from there, and we'll be in good shape. Do you want to start with Forex like you did last week? Do you have pairs you want to go over? You want
Yep.
me to start with something else, or
I'll start with Forex. Let me.
you should be able to share like last time?
Yep. Share. Come on. Oh, there we go.
Like the third button. Yeah, and then I gotta just enable it. Cool.
Okay, so last week we had covered GU, and I think we covered GJ as well. So I kind of wanted to touch on that again. If there's a different pair you want me to cover, feel free to type it in the Facebook, since that's what I can personally see on my end. Or if you're on YouTube, I think it should still pop up.
It'll still pop up on the restream chat.
Oh, shit.
It compiles all of it. So.
All right, cool. So this week was a very weird week in the market, choppy week in the market due to NFP, which is non-farm payroll. So last week we were trading around this level. Let me see. Yeah, it was somewhere around this level when we did the webinar. And I had mentioned if we couldn't break above this level of resistance, then of course we'd be coming back down into this range here. Now, that of course happened, but I did get stopped out on 2 buy positions this week, and I'll explain why. No matter how seasoned you are or what strategy you're using, there's going to be losses that you take. So that's where risk management comes in. Okay, so let me delete this for now. So price was trading at this level here. We had formed this level of support. We were rejecting the 50% fib. So I was thinking to myself, okay, we're still forming, where is my brush tool? We were still forming higher low points in the market at the time. And we had this nice bullish engulfing candle here. Highlight that, go into the lower time frame. I'll delete my fib for now to clear up my chart. Drop into the 1 hour. When we come into the 1 hour time frame, we can see that price was also respecting that uptrend structure. We came back into around the 78.6 area. and we had found support. So then what I was essentially looking for was to see price come back to retest this as support and then push to the upside. Because when price breaks a level of resistance, it needs to come back and retest it as support. So I had a buy limit set at 136,700, which got triggered perfectly. My stop loss was down here at 136,200, and then my upside target was 138. Right? So what wound up happening was we went into profit. I think it was like 30 or so pips. 40 pips pretty much. Went 40 pips in profit, and then price completely reversed and stopped us out here. Now, I did have a backup plan because I said to myself, you know, price could extend a little bit lower into this region before pushing into 138 based on this level here. So I had another buy limit set up where my stop loss was at 136.200. And then my upside target was still 138. Well, the market decided to literally stop me out by like 5 pips and then continue to push in my direction. So now I would have been currently 60 pips in profit, at most 77 pips in profit, but right now I'm waiting for another entry. So we do have this trend line here that is being respected currently, but if we were to break this trend line before coming back to retest this level, because I do think we'll get a retest of this level here, if we break this trend line, then I'll simply be looking to buy on the break, and then my upside target will still be 138. So I broke this down to pretty much show you that no matter how confident you are in a trade, I pretty much only lost 2%. And last month we were up 17%. So technically I lost 2% of profit money. My account is still in profit 15%. But when you're risking 10% of your account or 15% of your account on a trade, if you lose 2 trades like this, then your account's down 20 to 30%, and that can mess with you psychologically. You know what I mean? So it's always good to use risk management. As long as you're using risk management, you'll be in it for the long haul. If that made sense, type 1 in the chat. I just want to make sure everybody's following. And then I'll allow you guys to let me know what pair you want me to cover next. I see, let me see, gold.
Yeah, there was a request for gold.
I think that's the only one I really see right now. So we'll cover gold.
Cool, that works.
And she has been a weird one. Let me clear my chart. And we will start from the top. Sorry if I sound a little stuffy. I just got over a sinus infection. So, okay. So right now with gold, when we look at the monthly time frame, first of all, look at this. We had this level of resistance here, where these bodies of the candles could not close above. So 1825 was a strong level for gold for a long time. Now we can see that the monthly did breach that level, but now it's looking like it's failing to hold above, right? We just formed a lower high on the monthly time frame. Last 2 months have been bearish as well. This month, well, I should say last month was bearish, and it's looking like this month is going to be bearish as well. When we drop into the weekly time frame, let me delete this for now. Draw a region. Okay, so we know we have that level of resistance there. And then we also have this level of support here. We pretty much have this tight range on gold, even if we bring this down a little bit. So from 1790, call it, to about 1895 is a range on gold. When we drop into the daily, we can see that this level was supported here. Let's see. And then we also have right below that daily level of support there. So this is what I'm thinking. One sec. Depending on what happens around this region, let me see the 8-hour. For me personally, I would be looking to go long if price can close back above this trend line. So if we go into the 1 hour, well, no, let's check the 30. Honestly, it looks like it's ready to kind of go now. So especially based on M15, it's already broken structure and retested. So for me, if this 15-minute closes engulfing, then I would say you have a potential setup there. Target this region here.
Yeah, that looks pretty good actually.
So that's what I would be looking at on gold right now, based on, you know, what the structure is doing. Oh wait, why am I not seeing that? Well, I guess it's too small because I did it on the 15-minute. But yeah, that's what I would be looking at right now, personally. And it could actually push further, but as far as, you know, just a nice little kind of intraday setup, 1810 would be my my take profit.
I still think gold is a little overvalued right now, just in general. But
and I feel like it could pull into 1810 and then dump back into 1750. You know,
right? Yeah, because there's a lot of support around the 1750 area.
Right.
So that's kind of what, and if you look at like daily, I think it's pretty clear on daily, but we've been pretty consistently dropping down. You know, we've been downtrending so consistently. We drop with a big bearish candle and then consolidate a little bit, and then drop with another couple big candles, and then we retest that support as resistance. And then we've done that 3 times since August right? So I would be like intraday buying this maybe for like the retest back up, or yeah, like to retest that
This level here.
pattern, yeah, and then potentially lower again, back to like the 1750 area that you had mentioned.
Even
So
if
yeah,
we,
I don't necessarily think I'd swing trade it long right now,
yeah, no, I definitely wouldn't.
but silver looks, I think, pretty good in terms of the chart, but gold, yeah, I'm just like not super crazy about it at the moment.
Oh yeah, this 1 hour looks like it's gonna close lovely. If this 1 hour closes like that, definitely buy. Without a doubt.
Damon is saying, let's take a look at silver. Do you want to take a crack at it and then I'll show my chart and we can kind of compare, or do you want me to just?
Yeah, we can do that. I don't know when I did this chart, so ignore all this stuff. Remove drawings. Monthly. $20. Actually, 2027 is a strong level.
Mm-hmm.
Then we also have 22 as support. Boom. Pull out our fib based on the weekly. All right, so based on my weekly fib, obviously we all should know what's about to happen with silver. And if you don't know what's about to happen with silver, it's about to go on a massive bull run. I personally feel like. My upside potential on silver, and I'm sure it's going to be or could be much more than this, but something that I think we could see potentially this year is this $59 mark.
Oh, I think we're definitely going to hit that. My targets are even a little bit higher than that.
Boom. So I'm extremely bullish on silver. Even if we look at the daily, an immediate structure. Actually, let me do this. So we kind of have silver in this channel. I feel like once we break the top of the channel, then we can have like a pretty significant run, because we've already broken out of this downward channel that we were in. We broke out, retested it, and now we've created a new one. So upside for sure. I'll let you share your screen so I can see what your chart looks like.
Yeah, mine's a little bit uglier. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've got a ton of lines, and I've got a lot going on here. But I'm gonna try to kind of take it apart real quick, and maybe I'm gonna get rid of some stuff here, because I just pulled it back up, and I've been kind of experimenting. I don't know if you ever used the fan, Fibonacci fan, or the Gann fan tool, but
No, I have.
I've been experimenting with it lately. It's actually kind of fascinating how it works. So I've been trading almost 10 years, and I'm always learning, as I'm sure you are, Ryan. Like I'm always trying to like figure out new ways to analyze and like find confluence with things. So
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people don't use this tool because it can be kind of confusing to use, but I think it's kind of interesting how it works. So I was playing around with it, and it's actually interesting that the price run that we had in August tapped the a level of resistance on the fan basically perfectly, and then it dropped back down. I have a weekly fib here drawn. I'm going to get rid of my extension here. I have a weekly fib that you had drawn, right? And then that came down. It hit the 38 that I was expecting it to hit, and then it came back up, kind of like it's retesting that area of resistance. So there's very strong resistance here for a number of reasons, right? If we go back to monthly, it's probably cleaner. Yeah, if we go back to like monthly real quick, you can see that there's very strong area of support and resistance here, right? This was support for a while back this was during the housing crisis when we had this hike and then drop back down. And so since then, we've been below that level, and we're finally coming back up and kind of testing it. And I think we saw, in terms of like why I'm bullish based on technicals, we saw that price came up and tested this level of support that's now being treated as resistance. We came down, did a really clean Fibonacci retracement. There happens to be confluence with the fan. And what we saw this past weekend was it came back up and tested that area again. So on daily, we saw it come up and it hit this level. Let me zoom in a little bit more. We hit this level. 4 hour, I think it's a little bit cleaner. I'm going to get rid of this support and resistance area because now we just got too much going on. This is the fan level here. So we hit this level, and I thought we were going to maintain it, right? You can see it like lines up almost perfectly for it to, it spiked up. When market opened, I noticed that it was basically opening at the fan resistance. And when it came up and came back down, I was thinking at the time that this might be a retest and that we were going to go up. But I was also prepared for the fact that, okay, there's also a very realistic chance that it's going to come back down and retest this trend line that I have drawn for the daily. So that, I think, is what's happening right now. So I think we're kind of pulling back currently. I think it's going to be short term. I'm thinking that, kind of like you, I am overall bullish for a lot of fundamental reasons on silver. And like Damon said in the chat, it's being used industrially for so many purposes that the Biden administration is looking very closely at. It's used in EV, it's used in solar panels, it's used in tech, your cell phone, any kind of electronics. So there's a lot of industrial reasons why silver has been undervalued for a really long time. Historically speaking, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole here real quick, but historically speaking, there's usually a 15-to-1 ratio between silver and gold, right? And right now we're looking at more of a 75-to-1, So when you talk about inflation adjusted silver price, based on fundamentals, we really belong somewhere between 100 and 150. So, the hedge funds, this is something Wall Street Bets brought to the public's attention this past week, but the hedge funds have been suppressing silver for a long time because of the fact that it's a way to mask inflation, and they're kind of losing control of that now. And there's so much retail buying demand that they're going to be forced to liquidate some of the commercial bars they have because there's not enough supply for retail people. So that's why I'm buying physical silver. That's why I like it. Kind of for the same reason I support crypto, right? I'm like, take down the establishment type thing. But based on the chart, definitely see technical reasons to be bullish on this. I think, we'll probably dip back down. I don't margin trade commodities anymore. I've just been stacking them. I dabble in gold a little bit, but I figure I can margin trade so many things. If there's something I can physically stack, then I'm just going to do that. But if you were going to margin trade this, I think this trend will probably be respected. I think that, there's probably going to be a pretty clean buy opportunity down here. It's going to be like a deep retracement type situation, probably. Maybe it consolidates to the side and hits like the 78.6 and kind of moves sideways a little bit here along this trend line. We might see a sharper rejection down into the 88 and then back up. But the next time that we test this fan, let me go back to weekly here. Next time we retest this fan, I think we're probably going to break it. We had that test, we came down, hit a really clean retracement. Now we're kind of moving up. So to me, this feels a lot like a higher low forming to where we're going to get a higher high here, and then probably get some kind of retest to that. And I'm actually going to experiment and use the fan as targets, and see how well that's respected. So I'm thinking, 34, between 30 and 35 for the next kind of profit target. I'm thinking for spot, and then it's probably going to pull back to a retracement. It might dabble back down and break structure and come back down to here or something like that based on what the economy is doing. But I'm going to tentatively use the fan as targets just because of how well it's been respected here. So that's kind of my bias on silver. I'm very bullish. I think, like you said, all-time high is 50, and I think we're going to smash that this year. And I'd really like to see it go up as high as, that's quite a hike to 100, but it's been so suppressed over the years that I think when it starts moving, it's going to pick up a lot of pace.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things we're going to have to just kind of see. But definitely, I have no reason to think we're not going to blow through 50 this year, which is previous high. So it'll be interesting. But yeah, I'm bullish on silver. If you can find it physically, I recommend that. If you want to margin trade it, I'd wait until you see that trend line retest on the 1 hour, and you can probably long it there and make some money. Are there any other requests? Did someone say, is this Doge? Because I'm going to ban you.
Yeah.
I mean, I can chart Doge if you guys really want me to. I avoid it like the plague that it is, personally. I think I hate how much attention, I hate how much attention that project is getting, and Elon is just kind of fueling that. Don't get me wrong, I love Daddy Musk as much as anyone, but it's just a big joke. It has no real utility purpose, so I would not recommend buying it, especially not at these prices, but I will chart it and show you guys why. What's going to have the most history? Binance. Okay, not Binance, I guess. Maybe Bittrex.
That's a Doge tether again.
Well, I guess maybe
you have to type in Doge USD and then use Bittrex. So retype it. Yeah. Here you go, top one.
That has even less market data. It might have come out in 2018.
Or Binance was there as well, calculated by TradingView.
Yeah, I tried Binance. That was even less. And Tether is pegged to the US dollar anyway. But, all right, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to get off monthly anyway. It might not have more history than that because it hasn't been around. I swear it's been around longer than that, though.
Yeah, which one am I using? Hold on. I use, where is it? I'm using Bittrex.
Dogecoin US dollar?
Yep.
And do you have more market data than back to 2020? Like what?
Let me see. No.
Oh, all right. Well, I swear that there's more market data to go off of here, guys. Like, because Doge has been doing this thing forever. Like, it pumps and then it comes down, and it pumps and it comes down. So, like, it has done this multiple times. I don't know why it's not giving me more market data, but I can just base it off of this because you can see enough here. This is a buy at like a penny and a half at best, in my opinion. But let's take a look real quick.
Wait, what is it at right now?
5 cents.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. I mean, it's so heavily manipulated, guy. I mean, because so Jacob just said 2013. So yeah, we're missing like a ton of market data. I don't know why, but I have looked at the chart that far back before, so I can tell you it has done this multiple times. I don't know if it's ever went this high, but it does this spike and then it drops all the way back down the flat line, and then it spikes and then flat line and spikes and flat. It's done that like 5 times in its existence. But I mean, there's no technical reason to buy this right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there just isn't. Like, I don't even know how else to say it. If you if you're basing just off of this price action, right, off of the spike, I mean, it might have hit a retracement. I don't even know. I have not charted it. So I mean, it kind of came down and touched the 78.6, but there's also there's just no fundamental back to Doge that if you buy it, you need to understand you're basically gambling. Um, it is gambling at that point, because the whole purpose of crypto, it operates a lot like stocks, right? I mean, when you have a stock that has strong fundamentals, in my eyes, the way that I trade, if your stock has strong fundamentals, then you do technical analysis on it. I don't just throw money into any chart that has, pretty bars on it if it doesn't have strong fundamentals. So as far as crypto is concerned, I treat it the same
Right.
way. In order for me to trade a cryptocurrency, because there's so many out there that are legitimate, in order for me to trade a crypto, it needs to have strong fundamentals first, and then the chart has to look good. For Doge, the chart doesn't look good, and it has no fundamentals. So it's like, if you're throwing money at it right now, you are straight gambling that Elon is going to tweet about it again. Um, so I mean, you need to understand that. And look, if you're the kind of person that likes to gamble, then maybe that's your thing, right? Maybe you're like, okay,
This is
it's
the
either
time
going
to.
it's either going here or it's going into a slot machine. Like, if that's you, then more power to you. But I'm just telling you, there's no technical reason to think that this is going to be really going anywhere. We probably did, if I go down to the 1 hour. It looks like we did another retracement. It looks like we hit another fib here. So let's kind of narrow in on this move, right? If we look at this move in particular, we spiked the 61.8. So we hit the 61.8, and we have this level of resistance that it's hitting. I really feel like from here, this is probably going to dump first down to like the 3 cents area. And then from there, if history repeats itself, you're going to see it back at a penny and a half relatively soon. There is a level here around 2 cents that it might pick up and then like create this massive range. But again, this is not something I'm ever going to touch. I've never owned Doge. I'm never going to own it because that's not how I trade crypto. So just, make your decisions wisely. I would say, based on the technicals, there's really no reason to buy it here because you're buying into resistance, which you never want to do. If by some miracle, you're like a huge Doge fanatic and you want to own this, at least wait until it breaks through this level and retests it, because this is obviously a very strong level that it's historically had trouble passing, this 5 to 6 cent area. Let it spike to like 7, 8 cents, and then let it pull back into this area, because if it breaks this area, it is 100%, in my opinion, again, not financial advice, it is 100% going to consolidate back at this level before it moves again. So there's really no reason to buy it here. Let it do its thing. If it drops back down, if you want to buy it back, back on the floor just to own it, that's fine. There's been a lot of people talking about Doge saying, I made a bunch of money last week with it, blah, blah, blah. Notice you're not seeing those people talk about it right now, because a lot of those people got knocked back out when it dropped back down. Like, it did this whole spike. People were like, oh my God, I'm making so much money. And then, oh God, it's back at 2 cents. And
Yeah.
a lot of them sold for a loss because they bought during this consolidation right here when it was kind of doing this thing, spiking up and down. People bought. You had a lot of buyers in this area. I need to turn this off. You had a lot of buyers in this area that got knocked out on the way back down, and a lot of those people sold for a loss. So, just understand there's a pattern to kind of how Doge operates. It's 100% FOMO driven. There's not any really something special about it. It's a meme coin, right? So just be safe is all I got to say. If you're going to get in it, just understand the risks. Understand you're basically gambling. The chart doesn't look great. Fundamentals basically zero. So just be aware of what you're getting into. And now I'm never going to talk about Doge again.
Real quick, I want to answer Arthur's question. We will cover more crypto like that on our Crypto and Chill webinar, which is on Wednesdays at noon. He was asking about Ethereum, but I don't really want to dive too deep into the crypto world.
Yeah, that's kind of what Crypto and Chill is about. So for those of you guys that aren't familiar with it, every Wednesday at noon EST, is it EST? Yeah, noon EST. We do a about an hour long show that's 100% crypto. So, that I have. We also we do publicly, so you guys are all welcome. But yeah, we have a recording the past 2 days, and I think every week, if I'm not mistaken, Orion will probably touch on like an update of Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I think we did this week as well, if I remember correctly, or did we bypass that this time?
Anyway, still touched on it, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, if not, we should probably every week just do like a quick little market update on Ethereum and Bitcoin. But yeah, that's free as well, guys. So we'll touch a little bit on crypto here, maybe do a chart or two. But this is less about education on crypto. This is more about charting. I got a little bit carried away myself here about Doge, but I get riled up on Doge. So let me think. Maybe we move to the stock world. Is there anything that you've been looking at in stocks, Orion? Let me look at my watch list here and see. I have some stuff that I was setting some orders for, and some of my stuff dumped today.
Let me see. Any new? I don't have any new stocks pulled up. I know I covered Affirm, American Express.
Yeah, you covered a couple. I have a few pending orders. Let me look at what I have here.
Apple stock is booming right now. I'm so glad. Yeah, because they
has the Kia acquisition or whatever.
Yep, that electric car announcement. That's why I've been telling people to buy, because they said they're supposed to be releasing those by 2024 from what I heard. So right now it's at 137 a share.
I'm gonna look at MBRX just because I bought it today.
Okay.
And if there's any requests for stocks, Kevin, yeah, that's noon EST time on Wednesdays. All right, we're getting some stuff in here, but I'm gonna do MBRX. You guys monitor that if you want. Oh my God, this thing's jumpy. Oh, we're on in 1 hour. That's why. Still jumpy. This thing has been slingshotting all over the place because it's a biotech. For those of you guys that may or may not be aware, the biotechs are generally rather volatile. I cannot believe these wicks I'm seeing here.
That's on the weekly. Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Biotech's very volatile. It'll move like Sava, one that I just played with last week, moved like 2,000% in the past couple weeks. Like, it's crazy. So it'll spike like that. I'm a fan of this company because of their fundamentals. The reason that I bought it today, though, it gapped down, but there's a fundamental reason for why it gapped, which I love fundamental reasons for gapping because they're usually quick recoveries. They did a public offering at 475, I think it was. This hasn't updated, that's why. I'm currently seeing 488. This is not updating right now because the market's closed, but I went ahead and grabbed some on the floor here at 476 just because I think it's going to be an easy 20% recovery back up to the trend that they had going here. It only dumped because of the public offering, which isn't that big of a deal to me. So I'm thinking this is at least going to pump 20-30% back up here and hopefully resume the trend from there. So there's not a whole lot to go off of here, but this is the only one I bought today just because of the gap down on the public offering at 475. So obviously that drives the price back down. And then typically what you see with public offerings is it closes the gap from there. So this is kind of like a gap play, but on a biotech. So I'll see. I like their fundamentals. It has been a little bit choppy, but I like their fundamentals. It's a good price where it's at, I think. And I'll probably look to sell it around between 7 and 8. It's hopefully, I'm looking for like a 100% return on this, and I'll be happy with that. So if there's any other stocks, let me know. Not a whole lot of technicals to go over here. It's basically on the floor because PO. Why are there more gaps in the market with stocks? So there's more gaps in the market with stocks because every single day the market is closed in the evening, and there's a lot of after hours movement that's not recorded on the chart. So you see that
Liquidity plays a factor as well, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep. Yeah, liquidity plays a factor too because there's only liquidity, there's only volume during a certain part of the day, right? During normal market hours, which is 9:30 to 4:30 EST. And so between those hours is when you see a lot of this activity going on, and then after hours is where these gaps are usually left. And on Forex, you see gaps as well, but only on weekends because it's a 24/5 market during the week. And with stocks, you have after hours every single day. So that's why there's typically a lot more gaps, especially on lower time frames for obvious reasons. When you get up to like daily, you see them too. Weekly, generally not as much because, again, there's not as much opportunity for gap with a weekly, right? Because this kind of looks like a Forex chart in terms of gaps. So typically with stocks, you want to start on the highest time frame, like weekly or monthly, just to kind of get an overall perspective. In this case, this is a fundamental play because it's a biotech. They like to pump. With biotechs, I like to get it in and out, grab my 100%, and then flip it into a different one. MBRX is basically on the floor right now. So based on the technicals, all I'm trying to do is grab another one of these spikes, right? And if there's a fundamental reason for there to be a spike, you throw a little bit of money at it. You get your 100% or whatever the case may be. In this case, I'll probably go for about 100%. There's an area of resistance here that's pretty strong. So I could potentially even go a little bit higher. Maybe aim for like between 9 and 10, which is about 120% ROI. So that might end up being my play based on monthly. But other than that, that is kind of my look for MBRX. Marks or gaps are how the market makers tell the next session where price wants to go. Yeah, that's also true. You kind of have to be careful with gap filling on stocks just because gaps are they happen organically, right? So there's gaps that happen because of Siri, I'm not talking to you. There's gaps that happen because of sudden price change, and there's gaps that happen because the market was closed. So you kind of have to kind of weigh the pros and cons of that and kind of be aware of it, if nothing else. But in this case, a lot of the gaps we saw on the daily and the 4-hour were from the market being closed. And not all of those will fill, but a lot of times when you have a gap because of price or because of fundamentals, those typically fill. The trend for MBRX was basically it was going up before the public offering. So that's why I'm bullish on it, right? We have this wick on the weekly all the way up here because based on their fundamentals, they're on the way up. and they gap down to fill the public offering. So now I expect that trend to continue back up to the top here. So that to me is kind of an easy play. What else we got? Let me look at my list here. And if there's anything in the chat, y'all let me know. I covered Dare last week. Let's look at an update on it. I actually haven't even looked at it since I covered it. So we ended on the 61.8. We're moving a little bit. I remember last week I got in because it was a 61.8 retracement on the spike. We are moving a little bit, so that's good. We're on an uptrend on the 1 hour. So last week was, what day was that? I don't even know. It must have been, because I got in at 206. So it must have been like right here. 28th, that sounds right. So since we entered on this, we've made a higher low. And now it kind of looks like we're moving sideways a little bit. I have a limit order set for more of this. I want to say I set it at 211, but really the ideal place would probably be 215. So I might adjust that. If you haven't gotten into Dare yet, you might be able to catch a wick down into the 61.8 area again before it starts moving. But we've clearly found support at the 61.8 of the spike, and that's what you like to see. So in terms of Dare, they're looking pretty good here. And Orion, if you haven't got it yet, you should set a limit order at the 61.8, I think.
That's what I'm doing now.
61.8 is 215. I think that's still a good entry. I bet you can grab a wick down into that. DARE. Again, not financial advice, but this is one I like. I like what they're doing. They're in health sciences. They're in biotech. A lot of times you see good example of what this can look like actually is Sava, the one that I just had. Sava went crazy. So if you scroll down, you can kind of see a similar situation here. Right, we had a spike up. So this is kind of what Dare looks like right now, honestly, which is kind of interesting. We had a pretty significant move. We made this run up from $2, which my entry was down here at like $2. Wow, it was even lower. Dang, I killed that. So my entry was way back here when it flatlined, and this is a good example of what biotech can do. It'll run, and it made that move up to 20, and then it pulled back. It did a retracement, hit a fib level, and then it exploded from there again. So this is kind of how stocks can work a little bit differently than Forex, in my opinion. And this thing really took off and hit like 115. So crazy. I'm up like 5,000% on Sava, or at least I was. And it's on the way back down now. So we'll see if this catches a retracement and then makes another leg. But I sold half my position already, so I'm kind of indifferent on what it does. But just an example of kind of how biotechs can work. When you scroll out on the big move, that first move looks pretty small, right? And if you go back to Dare, I think it's got the potential to do something similar to that, where once you end up scrolling out on where my targets are on this, that first move is going to look pretty small, right? Because if it pulls a Sava, it's going to do something like this and then pull back down. So biotechs are funky like that. So I think Dare looks pretty good where it's at. It's got strong fundamentals. I did, based on the weekly, we determined where a decent take profit area is at a previous zone. So I think I'll probably still target that, realistically speaking. Even if you look at the weekly here, actually, you can see we broke out and retested this zone that we've been testing. So I think there's pretty strong technicals here for this to make a move up to the top of this level.
Looks like it.
So that's there for you. Again, biotech, extremely high risk. Understand that in the stock trading industry, biotech is probably the highest risk because of how sensitive the nature of their work is, right? You know, the FDA shuts you down, your stock goes from 100 to 0 overnight. So it's one of those things. So just understand the risk associated with biotech, high risk, high reward. It's not like Apple, where, you know, I've been on record saying in the past, Apple I consider to be, you know, just as safe as a savings account. Basically, like if you have stock in Apple, it's never going to go down because Apple has enough money to buy countries. So it's not an Apple type situation, but it is a high risk, high reward play. So it's been about an hour, Ryan. You have anything else you wanted to cover?
My brain is fried, man.
Yeah, I feel you. And yeah, next week we'll be in at 7:30 EST.
Yes, 7:30 EST for sure.
7:30 EST instead of MST. So I messed that one up. I'll have it right next week.
Told him yesterday.
Yeah, I dropped the ball. I'm guilty. But it'll be the same place next week probably. We may or may not have it set up to stream to Damon and Orion's at that point. I think we need to probably jump on that, but we will. It'll be online if nothing else. So wherever you're watching it right now, you can come back to this channel or this page, and it'll be live again next week, 7:30 EST. Put it on your calendar every Thursday, and feel free to bring chart requests. Remember, if you're really trying to go down the crypto rabbit hole, that's noon EST on Wednesdays. We have a totally dedicated crypto discussion / charting talk show kind of thing. It's really fun, so definitely check that out.
Feel free to join, team. Feel free to join.
Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for tuning in with us. Again, feel free to message me, or if you have any questions, you can reach out to me on Facebook, reach out to me on YouTube. I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know how YouTube works. Not a YouTube person. It looks like I got a question on YouTube. I don't know if messaging is a thing on YouTube, but let's just try to touch base somehow, some way. And any questions, feel free to reach out to me.
Yep, I hope everybody has a great weekend, and we look forward to speaking with you next week.
Take care, everyone.